Hey, what's up guys? I'm BTC. The brand new game mode is Capture the Flag, and people seem to either love it or hate it. I have kind of mixed feelings about it. It was kind of an emotional roller coaster. I started out super excited when I saw Capture the Flag in the trailer. Then when I started to play it, I admit I was a little disappointed, but then I realized that this game mode could open up a lot of doors for Overwatch. So rather than spending this entire video talking about how amazingly perfect Capture the Flag is, or that it's the worst thing ever, instead, I want to talk about how this can actually change the game for the better. First of all, in the developer commentary, Jeff Kaplan said that they tried a whole bunch of different versions of Capture the Flag. No, I'm not gonna call it Capture the Rooster, because that just sounds dumb. Anyways, they finally decided on the version that we have now, and it does work, sort of. Blizzard decided not to make this a competitive game mode, and instead they allowed it to be unbalanced because they view it as more of a fun, just kind of blow off steam kind of game mode. They did say that, yeah, potentially at some point in the future it might be competitive, but would require a lot of work. And here's the thing, I think that with a little bit of tweaking, Capture the Flag could be a great competitive game mode. And I think that would be a really good thing for the competitive esport community. And here's why. Right now in Overwatch, and basically how it's been ever since it came out, the meta or the standard lineup is very stale. It goes through slight changes every now and again, but it's typically the same heroes every single time, over and over. Now, balance certainly plays a big part in that, but that's a discussion for another video. The other reason for this is because of how the rest of the maps are played. There's only one objective at any given time. This means that the best way to capture or defend is to use a 6-man team. Every fight is the same 6-on-6 group fight over and over again. During the developer commentary, Jeff Kaplan even said this about the single objective style of gameplay. Now, the impression that I get is that he and some of the Blizzard team don't like having multiple objectives, which is part of the reason why they really don't care if Capture the Flag is unbalanced. This is really unfortunate because I think multiple objective maps would be awesome. We'll get back to that in just a second. So in Overwatch, there are 4 different roles: offense, defense, tank, and support. Let's break them down a little bit. In the offense category, all of these characters, with the exception of Sombra, have seen a lot of time in high-level competitive play. They've all been heavily used or viable at some point or another. Alright, let's skip over to the tank category, and it's basically the same thing. All of these characters have seen a lot of use. In the support category, Ana has kind of taken the crown, but Lucio, Mercy, and Zenyatta have all had their day in the sun, and they've all had a lot of gameplay at some point or another. Only Symmetra really hasn't. Now, let's go back to the defense category. Unlike the other roles, the heroes in this category have seen very little playtime in high-level competitive play, specifically tournaments. Bastion is only used in kind of gimmicky surprise Bastion strategies. Basically, a team will pick Bastion, try to catch the enemy off guard, and get a quick team wipe. But it's really easy to counter, so it usually doesn't last very long. Next up is Hanzo, and I'm going to throw Widowmaker in here as well. Only a few high-profile players even try to use these characters in tournaments. Other than that, they rarely see the light of day. Now, Junkrat can actually be pretty decent on the first objective of some of the maps, but usually he's only there for a little bit and then the player will switch off rather quickly. Now, Mei probably sees the most playtime of any of the defense heroes, and that's largely because her ultimate can be crazy good in some situations, and also because the ice wall is ridiculous on maps like Hanamura and Eichenwald. But as with Junkrat, after the first point is gone, the player just switches off. The last character is Torbjorn, and he sees almost no gameplay at all in the high-level competitive tournaments. So what this means is that while most of the characters on offense, tank, and support can be viable and are picked on kind of a regular basis, almost none of the defense characters see any real meaningful amount of game time. Multiple objective maps could completely change that. Now, I'm not just talking about Capture the Flag either. I made a video a while ago talking about how we could have multiple payload maps or multiple capture point maps. These sorts of things have been around in Team Fortress 2 for years, and multiple payload maps were by far some of the most fun I ever had in that game. I'll throw some links in the description and the comment section so you can go and check out those videos because I go fully in depth on both of those ideas. But basically, the idea is that the teams would be forced to split up in order to be effective. In the single objective maps, grouping as a 6-man team is the best and only way to play that game mode. But it wouldn't necessarily be the ideal strategy in maps that have multiple objectives. This means that certain characters that have an emphasis on defense would be a lot more viable. Characters like Bastion, Junkrat, or hell, even Torbjorn could be viable in multiple objective maps. Imagine a capture point map that has 3 active points that are a decent distance away from each other. You can't just have a 6-man group because you'll only ever hold one of the points. You would need to split up your team, and having characters that can actually hunker down and defend would be really strong, because then that would let the rest of your team go and advance on another point. Now don't get me wrong, there's all kinds of problems with hero balance right now, and that certainly needs to be addressed. But with only having a single objective, I feel that the heroes in the defense role are always going to be kind of like second fiddle to the offense role. I think opening the game up to game modes with multiple objectives would be really exciting and a huge improvement to the esports tournament scene. Anyways, that's what I think about all of that, guys. Let me know what you think. Give your feedback in the comment section below. Do you like CTF? Do you hate CTF? Do you want multiple payloads? Do you want multiple capture points? Do you think the whole idea is just dumb? Let me know. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe because there's lots more Overwatch on the channel. Remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault.